Hello, everyone, and welcome to the grand launch ceremony of Codeavour 6.0 International. I hope you all are sound and safe. A very warm welcome to all of you. I can see a lot of hi and hellos in the chat box. So make sure you drop your name with the country name in the chat box so that we can know from where you all are joining us. A very good evening, good afternoon, or good morning to all the people who have joined us from all around the globe. We all are very excited to have you here, and I hope the excitement level is at the top of the peak because we all are very excited for this grand launch ceremony. We will be starting the ceremony in a short, so we are just waiting for more participants to tune in, and then we will start up our ceremony. The level of excitement that I am having right now is at the peak. And so I can see that in the chat box as well. We have a lot of panelists and expert speakers who have joined us to make this ceremony more engaging. And of course, there is much more to come. There are a lot of announcements that we will be making for this ceremony, which will take this ceremony to the next level. A very warm welcome once again, everyone. Kindly drop your name and from where you are coming and joining us from in the chat box. So we have people joining us from Nepal. We have people joining us from Algeria, Greece, Italy. So I'm so happy to have you all here. Welcome back, Codeavour. Yes, Codeavour is back. We have people joining us from India. We have people joining us from Sudan, and I'm very happy. All right, so I think it's a good time to start the launch of Codeavour 6.0 International. Once again, welcome everyone to the exciting launch of Codeavour 6.0 International. Get ready to embark on a journey of creativity, innovation, and coding excellence. Today with me, I have Mrs. Pancham Chopra Goyal and Mr. Ayush Jha from Codeavour management team as host of today's ceremony. So over to you, Mrs. Pancham.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone joining us from across the globe. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the grand launch of Codeavour 6.0 International. Today, we embark on a journey to explore innovation, technology, and sustainability. Let's get ready to ignite the spark of creativity and make this event unforgettable. Before we dive into today's exciting lineup, let me quickly walk you through the itinerary for today. We have an inspiring keynote address, an exclusive panel discussion on tech for a greener future, the much anticipated XR launch, and of course, the grand unveiling of Codeavour 6.0 with our brand new mascot. So stay tuned as we have a lot in store for you guys. So now, moving ahead, the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here, guys. Before we officially launch Codeavour 6.0 International, let's build up some excitement with a special teaser video. Get ready to witness what's bigger and better this year. Are we all excited, guys? Let's get it started, Vivek. Whoa, are we all excited, guys? We would love to see your excitement in the chat box with emotes, guys. Quickly go and send up your emojis. We love to see how excited you guys are. Whoa, Vivek, I can see a lot of excitement building up, isn't it?
Yes, I can see a lot of emojis and emotes in the chat box.
Lovely. So let's begin with a quick keynote speaker. To set the tone for today's event, it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Michael Peter Edson, a director, strategist, and a thought leader at the forefront of transformation in cultural sector. Michael was the director and chief museum officer of Museum of Solutions, a new state-of-the-art facility in Mumbai, India, dedicated to inspiring and empowering young people to solve the world's most pressing problems. Muso was mentioned in the Time magazine's World's Greatest Places list in 2024. Previously, Michael co-founded the Museum of United Nations, UN, live in Copenhagen, and the director of web and new media strategy for the Smithsonian Institution, the world's largest museum and research complex in Washington, D.C. Michael, the stage is all yours.
Oh, thank you, Pacham. And that was an awesome video. It's great to see your smiling faces, waving hello to everyone out participating. It's always an incredible thrill for me to get to interact with such an international audience and a youth audience. I was trying to figure out how I would frame my talk today, who I would be speaking to, educators. There are a lot of PhDs in the audience and very important, very skilled people. And a colleague once told me that you can never go wrong talking with a smart 11-year-old. So I'm going to pretend that I'm interacting with a very smart 11-year-old. Their wisdom and honesty and playfulness is something that I think Codeavour is really, really about. So I was at the Codeavour 5.0 All India final, and it was completely awesome. Just an electric buzz of excitement from hundreds and hundreds of kids, educators, parents, everybody trying to express something that was important to them, something about the future, something that brought together their academic studies, their community, their family, their ideas, their own passions. And I know that 6.0 is going to be just as super cool. I was also incredibly excited to see that this year's theme is going to be climate change and sustainability. I've been working for 10 or 15 years trying to get museums and libraries and cultural institutions and schools to become more consequentially involved in climate action, sustainability, social good, not as passive observers or learners, but as doers. So through this program, over 100,000 people, young people in 50 countries will become involved in climate action and sustainability, not by reading a textbook, though textbooks are important, not by memorizing facts or equations, though facts and equations are incredibly important, but they will be learning about the SDGs, about sustainability, about climate, about community, about the future through their own creativity, with their own hands, and in the context of their own lives and communities and futures. And I'm convinced that though there are many ways to learn about the world and many ways to influence the world, one of the most important ways is to learn to do. And I think in my very brief remarks, I want to talk about this doing, this magical aspect of doing, and really what it means to be an educated person today and in the 21st century. I worked for many years at the Smithsonian Institution, the world's largest museum and research complex. And the mission of that institution was the increase and diffusion of knowledge. And there was kind of a quiet agreement among the museums and universities and schools of the world that only a certain kind of person got to increase and diffuse knowledge, experts. And experts was defined by a tacit agreement. Expert was defined as someone who had gone to a certain kind of university and published a certain kind of paper, and they had the privilege of assembling the evidence, deciding what was important, deciding what should be known about that, creating the solution and delivering it over a wall to a passive and grateful audience. And a lot of that is amazing. Experts and expertise of that kind is amazing and has really changed the world. But then one day we discovered the internet. We discovered the World Wide Web. And we discovered that even though we had great experts inside the Smithsonian Institution and inside our universities and schools and neighborhoods and the wise elders in our community, we could now see that there were other kinds of expertise, other kinds of voices, other kinds of skills in the world that we did not have in our own small rooms. Many people don't know or forget that I mentioned the World Wide Web. When Sir Tim Berners-Lee and his colleagues created the World Wide Web, the first web browsers were not just readers, but they were editors. They were writers. The whole idea of this marvelous global knowledge network was that everyone would be empowered to not just consume, but to create. Similarly, in the old days of museums, when the British Museum was taking its modern form in the early 19th century, you couldn't just come and visit. You had to write an application to go and visit. You wrote a letter to the director of the British Museum, and if you were found worthy, you would come in for an interview. And if you were found worthy from that, you would be granted an appointment for half an hour or so where you could walk through the collection under the very careful guardianship of one of the curators, and then you would be asked to leave again. Museums are very different now. MUSO, that was the Museum of Solutions, is a very different idea about museums. It's an idea that we learn best when we learn together. We learn best when we are learning for the purpose of doing. And we learn who we are not just by standing and listening to a few experts talk about the past, though that is important. We learn best when we are standing together with our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters, our families, our teachers, and we are together making and considering a future that we want to live in. And young people, all people, but especially young people, have a fundamental human right to be involved in the shaping that they are going to be, the shaping of the future they're going to live their whole lives in. When I first started working on the Museum of Solutions in Mumbai, and before that on the Museum for the United Nations, I would start by asking people to talk about the future, or talk about some of the SDGs, poverty, extreme poverty, education, healthcare, clean climate, and everyone has very strong ideas about these things, but they're hard to talk about. We don't practice a lot around the dinner table. It's a skill to be able to discuss and work on these epic, huge ideas. How do we educate everyone in the world? How do we feed everyone in the world? Everyone I talk to could tell a very clear story about in Mumbai, about a Mumbai that was at some point in the future green, lush, clean, with pure air and water you could swim in and birds and flowers and green space. Everyone can imagine that thing. But no one can really imagine how Mumbai could ever change, how the world could ever change. These are skills. This is an educational talent to be able to discuss and work on the future that most people don't get. Most people don't get this kind of education. And I would argue that today, in the 21st century, with continuously accelerating global change, robotics, AI, Moore's law continues to accelerate into the future, surprisingly. Biotechnology, nanotechnology, augmented human biology, all of these things are happening all at once and very quickly. And the world of tomorrow is going to be very different than today. But who has the authority and the moral authority, the imperative, the skill to work in that future, to shape that future? Well, That's what Codeavour is building now. Those are the skill sets of tomorrow, not just to learn, but to do. I think when I first started talking about the SDGs to people around the world, the Sustainable Development Goals and the future, I would say, "Hello, I'm Michael Edson. I'm from the Museum for the United Nations, and I'm here to talk with you about the future and sustainability." And people would go, "Ah." And you could see the creativity drain from their faces. They would lean back in their chairs and cross their arms. And after a while, I figured out that what was going on was people were recognizing that an authority was in the room who would tell them how the future world would be and how they could participate. And their own desire to create, to innovate, to think, to make the world anew would drain out of them. And so I started doing it a different way. Instead of saying, "Hello, I'm from the United Nations and I'm here to help," I would show people a piece of paper that had the Sustainable Development Goals written on them. And I'd ask them to quietly read that list and think about a story from their own life that related to one of those Sustainable Development Goals. And then I would ask them to share that story with their neighbor. And as soon as this big, uncertain, challenging, impossible world became about them and their own lived experience, people literally blossomed, opened up, leaned forward, tapped into their own ideas, their own life stories, and they learned about the SDGs and the future and each other in an entirely different and more creative way. And I think that's really the essence of what Codeavour is doing. It's advocating to you that these big ideas are not about the UN. It's not about some museum, some authority. It's not about Codeavour. It's not about your school. It's really about your own life, your own experiences, and what you and your friends and your neighbors and your playmates and your family can think and do with your own hands and head and heart for the future. Before I wind up my talk, I want to say a little bit about solutions and winning. So when we opened the Museum of Solutions, we talked a lot about what counts as a solution. And in the industrialized world, in the great conference centers of Europe and North America and universities and halls of government, a solution is something that a bunch of technical experts work on in a whiteboard and then deliver out to the village, deliver out to the people, the passive recipients, just like the old model of the Smithsonian. And the problem with that is that a lot of times it just doesn't work. That kind of technological, technocratic solution often doesn't reflect the way that people want to lead their lives or the logic and wisdom and genius of the street. So when we built Museum of Solutions, we thought that empathy was a solution. Being kind was a solution. Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the United Nations, says, you need places like this so that a child on a playground has the knowledge and insight and empathy to see that a child may be bullied, but also the courage to act, to intervene. So that knowing has to always be coupled with doing. And a solution isn't just a formula or a genius business solution that makes you $1 billion. A solution can be kindness. A solution can be very low tech. A solution can be helping someone be a better version of themselves. And then winning. There will be a winner of Codeavour. There will be winners. And I hate that. I hate that so much. Because I think we grown-ups are very bad at anticipating what kinds of winning will make a difference in the future. And to me, a kid, a school who makes a breakthrough, who finds a voice of their own at whatever scale, who grows a little bit, that is every bit as important a kind of winning in society and in the life of a human being than winning the big prize and going on and getting into a big university. I think we value that kind of one-dimensional winning far too much. I'm remembering in some kinds of competition designs, nobody wins unless everyone crosses the finish line. And I want you to think about, as you become involved in Codeavour, think about this idea of winning, why you want to win, and what kinds of kindness, what kinds of insight and growth should be recognized, because you never know what kind of skill, action, wisdom, know-how will matter in the future, will make life beautiful for yourself and the people you know moving forward. So with that being said, I'll wrap up my talks. It's just an honor to be with you all. Thank you, Codeavour, for having me, and I really look forward to the rest of the program. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much for this enlightening keynote. And I think everybody who has joined us live resonates with the views. Thank you so much for always supporting the Codeavour's cause. And, a huge shout out to Michael. Everybody who's joined us live, I think, go ahead, give a huge shout out in the chat box, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael, once again. So next up, we have an exclusive panel discussion featuring thought leaders who are driving the conversation around tech for a greener future, educating students on sustainability and climate action. Let's welcome our esteemed panelists. So first up, Ms. Ridhima Pandey. She is a 16-year-old climate activist based in Haridwar, Uttarakhand. She has done great work in creating awareness about climate change. She's also worked with Greta Thunberg for child rights. She's a cast member of the international film The Letter, based on Encyclical written by His Holiness Pope Francis. And she has been featured in the series One for Change at Disney Plus Hotstar, which is produced by National Geographic. She has been interviewed and featured in NBC, New York Times, The Guardian, Times of India, Vogue, Forbes, Elle, So Good Magazine, and Deccan Herald. Thank you so much, Ridhima, for taking out time to join us today. Next up, we have Dr. Sreejit Chakrabarty, Director of AI and the Cluster Edu Innovation Lead, American and IB at GEMS Education UAE. With a background including a PhD in AI, an MBA in systems, and a bachelor's in electronics engineering, he has significantly contributed to integrating STEM, robotics, and emerging technologies into curriculums across the globe. Dr. Chakrabarty is also a keynote speaker for Forbes 30 Under 30, GTEx, JES, BET, and the World AI Show, to name a few. Thank you so much for being with us today, Sreejit. Next up, we have Alan Taylor, Head of Digital Learning at Haley Berry Almaty, Kazakhstan. Thank you so much, Alan, for joining us today. And now let's get started with our panel mode. Now, Vivek, switch on to the panel mode, please. So moving ahead with the panel discussion, my first question to you is Ms. Ridhima. In your experience, how can we effectively engage students in climate action, ensuring their involvement goes beyond awareness to tangible impact?
Firstly, it's a pleasure being here, and hearing the keynote speech was really inspiring. Hi everyone. So I believe young people, when it comes to young people taking action, why is it important for the young people to take action? Simply, the answer is very, very simple if you see it. It's because this is about our life. This is about our future in the coming years. So it has to be us who has to make this decision. It should be us who makes this decision that the actions or, the profits that we are considering today, are they worth of, destroying the future that we're going to have ahead of us? Is it worth it of the destruction that we're having today? And is it worth it of sacrificing what we have in the coming years? And when it comes to young people taking action, how we can have more and more young people joining, this fight, being an advocate about climate crisis, about SDGs, about biodiversity, environmental conservation. I believe, feeling and understanding this thing that you have to be the one to take the first step ahead. We cannot sit back and wait for somebody to take action. There are many kids out there, those who are facing, extreme impacts of climate change every single day, and us having a little few privileges where we can raise our voice, against what's happening in the world, and we can raise our voices against the decision that's been taken. We can take actions against that. Raising our voices and using it for the betterment is really important, and understanding that even your smallest action matters a lot. Because I've heard people saying that, okay, we've reached a point of time where closing the taps is not going to work. I don't believe that. I mean, I believe as long as bunch of people are trying to drive a change, even if it's as small as carrying your own water bottle with you, carrying your own bags with you, when you're going for shopping, and holding cleaning up drives, awareness programs. So all of these things, I believe, as long as you're taking the very small step, every action is gonna count. And at the very end, you have to, I mean, why I do activism, to be very honest, I don't know how I can bring it on to people that yes, you have to take action. At the very end, it's upon them whether they want to take action or not. But as being somebody who has been working on climate change, on child rights since the age of 9, since 2017, what keeps me going on is that by the work that I am doing, or the work that I'm doing today, at least in the coming years, I wouldn't regret sitting at my home and think of, if I would have done something back then, things could have been different, or if I could have tried my best, maybe things would have been better today. So not having that regret in the very end is something because of which I try to do my best. And yeah, at the very end, my journey started because of a flash flood, and I decided I didn't want it the same childhood that I had with fears and trauma for the other kids, and that sort of is why I kept going on. And something like that could be the same for you guys. But yeah, the end message for the main concept or the main focus point for this is that understand that your actions matter, and you have to start taking action today, and think of climate change is a very, very important aspect of your life. And yeah, we cannot really imagine our life without the environment. So yeah, working on it is also very important.
Thank you so much, Ridhima. Even I feel that, I align with your thoughts that the next generation can drive in bringing a change in the betterment of their future. So next question is for Dr. Sreejit. How can technology be leveraged to enhance sustainability education in schools?
First of all, thank you for inviting me to the panel, and lovely hearing from Michael and Ridhima, all amazing points. Coming from a tech background and working with schools in technology, especially now emerging technologies like AI and so on and so forth, I think one aspect of climate change and sustainability could be energy usage. And I'm not saying that is the only one that we should focus on, but that is one that is critical because the effect of that is not very obvious, but we are consuming a lot of energy. Just looking at some data, just this last year, the total amount of energy or electricity that was used in the entire planet was around 30,000 terawatts. Of that, 1% was used for all AI generated work, right? So for running the data centers where all the data is collected, stored, the machine learning models are being working. And when I say 1%, it's almost 300 tera, which is trillion watts, which is a huge number, right? So I think one big factor that education can be in this is awareness. So the first thing is students and staff need to be aware of what is their energy impact on the planet and how they can go about recording it, and also trying to see how they can best be efficient around their teaching and learning resources, or even doing the projects that they're doing. Why not count how much amount of energy is being used for that particular project? What will be the impact of that project when it goes bigger in a larger scale, right? And probably work backwards towards how to conserve these kind of energy. So I think that awareness part is one of the biggest challenge that is there right now, because it's just not there in the especially in the K-12 domain. And I think one of the easiest way to do this is the impact approach. So once students and teachers try to analyze their own impact on the school, in the houses, or on the planet itself, it could be through their green energy, it could be through carbon credits or whatever, then they will start realizing that, okay, what they're doing is actually having an impact. And once that impact is I mean, when you have a data, when you have numbers associated with it, then that's when they start realizing, oh, maybe I could have done this to make sure that my project or my solution is a bit more greener. So I think awareness and impact is the two main things that needs to be done, especially in the K-12 sector.
Absolutely. Those were some eye-opening numbers, Sreejit. I mean, this definitely, will help us create awareness among the young generation. So, next up, I have a question for Alan, sir. So, as we all are aware that digital learning offers unique opportunities to make sustainability education more accessible and engaging. So, how are you utilizing digital tools and platforms at Haileybury Almaty to educate students about climate action? And what are the strategies that have proven most effective in inspiring these long-term commitments to sustainability?
Hello, thank you again for having me. And I'd just like to echo the comments so far. It's a great activity enterprise to be involved in. I think here at Haileybury, one of the things we do is the environment is all around us. So we see it every day. So by encouraging questions about that environment, that allows us then to use digital tools to simulate, to monitor, to investigate. What that then allows is for the young people to actually get a sense of what's going on and be able to have an impact at a small level and see what does and doesn't work, but then be encouraged to use digital scaling to take those ideas and develop them further and reiterate them until they build something or they design something which they can see the impact and their fellow students can see the impact. And that's been really good. So things like one of the projects I've been involved in was with hydroponics. So building hydroponics using microprocessors to control and then monitoring it, see how it did. And that led on to ideas about, well, is this the best way? And that led to vertical gardening, which then we use tools to look at that. So it's really about allowing the young people the ability to experiment and find their own answers. And they won't all be right, and we don't need them to be. But what we need them to be is trying. When I grew up, there was an expression, why doesn't somebody do something about this? It wasn't until I was about 30 I realized I was somebody and I should be doing something about it. But the young people today realize they're somebody and have the ability to influence and interact. And that now can very quickly go viral, as they say, and become a motion or a movement, which is a great way of actually implementing change or desiring change. So that's one of the things we try and do here is empower the young people and the students to experiment, to go out, to see what happens on a small scale, and then open it up to how do we then develop this. So I think that's it, giving them access to the tools, showing them how to use those tools, and then they run with them themselves. They're very, very digitally literate these days, and that's what we should be doing, allowing them to use those tools effectively and in ways we never did, because we're the ones that got us into this problem, I would suggest. So it's great to see them do that.
Thank you so much, Alan. I mean, even Codeavour aligns with your views that, giving such a platform to the students and the youth to bring a change and, kind of experiment also around with all the tools that are available to them. Thank you so much, Alan. Next question would be for Ridhima again. You've been into a lot of climate action movements and you've, even been associated with Greta Thunberg. That's huge. So could you just share a success story where youth-driven initiatives have led to, kind of a significant environmental change?
I mean, everything that you see today, every single strike that's been happening, even if I see my journey from 2017 to today, it was I would say, it was a huge success on its own. And also the movement, the climate movement, the Fridays for Future movement, if you know about that, the entire movement in itself is a great example of how the young people understood that, okay, there is a problem out there and nobody is doing anything about that. The people responsible are not taking their responsibility. So now let me go out and let me do my best, and maybe it could bring a change. And it led to this huge movement that we have today. I have seen, I started back in 2017. So I have seen the movement. I initially saw the movement getting built up. I was in a phase where there was no movement at all. And I felt like, there were times, in the beginning when I was working, and it felt like, okay, is this something which is not meant to be done? because I couldn't really see many young people in the same field that I was interested in. But coming to 2019, seeing, this huge movement building up, and now each and every single person is like, okay, I do something for the environment. Each and every young person that you would know at least must have done something for the environment or must have taken part in at least one strike. Most of the young people that I know, that I've talked to, are like, okay, I've planted a tree, okay, I took part in a plantation drive, whether it's in their school, whether it's in their community, or a group that they're part of. So I would say Fridays for Future is a movement in itself that is a huge success. And yeah, rather than that, there are different campaigns that have happened, campaigns. I could talk about campaigns that, I did on air pollution, water pollution. We started off as an online campaign back in 2019 when I saw the air pollution in Delhi, when I experienced the air pollution in Delhi in 2019. Eventually, I was there for a Children's Day event. I was super excited. I landed at Delhi. I was in my hotel, and then I got a call from the school that the event is cancelled because the city has been gone under lockdown because of the air pollution. I went to the school eventually because I traveled from Haridwar to Delhi for that particular event. So I went to the school, I was in my car, and yeah, there was this entire night that I had a day before, but I was constantly crying that I cannot survive here. I want to go back either today or you take me to a hospital because I couldn't breathe. Given the fact that I had air purifier in the hotel, the hotel arranged it for me. I had mask and I was traveling in a car. I had all the privileges, to be very honest, and still I felt it. And when I was going to the school, I was in my car. We stopped at a signal, and I saw those kids, the beggar kids on the street. I saw a lady having a small infant, in her hands, and that's the point of time when I realized, me having all these privileges, I'm struggling. I cannot think of how bad air pollution is impacting those kids down there. They're playing, they're enjoying. Not enjoying, but yeah, they're playing. They don't know what is happening. They don't know why it's all smoggy. They don't know the air that they're breathing is taking years away from their life, to be very honest. Studies have proved that. That sort of is when I decided, okay, I should do something about that because nobody else cares about those kids. We talk about air pollution till the time it is it's the AQI is bad, and then everybody forgets about that. So I realized it. I started an online campaign, and then I decided that, okay, let's take a step ahead. And I wrote an open letter to the Prime Minister of India, and then I launched this online campaign on first Clean Air for Blue Skies Day, where we requested people to click their pictures with the placard with their city mentioned, and support the campaign if they want. And the campaign was about how during the lockdown, the AQI of some of the cities, those who had very bad AQI quality indexed, it went under 60. You could see mountains from Chandigarh, you could see stars in Delhi, which was like a big deal. It's something which is normal, it should be normal, but it was a big deal for people, and people started to realize that it was our actions which was causing it. So we did the campaign, and it was a huge success. Over people from almost 100 cities took part in it. We had almost 12 organizations taking part in it. There were thousands of people, those who took part in it, and we took it ahead. So yeah, the key point is that all the to be very honest, all the campaigns or all the works that young people are designing, it's always a story that's a huge success story, and we can always learn a lot from them, because what I know is that when we do something, we put our heart and soul into it, and the result comes out to be really great. And yeah, every single thing you see out there, every initiative by a young person is an amazing example.
Thank you so much, Ridhima. Even I align with your thoughts that, such movements are definitely needed. And especially those movements have to be driven by the young generation, definitely. Thank you so much. Next question for you, Sreejit sir. What innovative approaches are being implemented at your institution, the Dubai American Academy, to integrate technology with climate action education? And how are the students responding to these initiatives? That's the more important question.
Yeah, going back to what Ridhima was just saying, I was very fascinated because when she said that when you're seeing stars and it is a great deal, it should not be a great deal. And that is where we are at the moment right now. It just reminds me of something that one of my idols, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, had said one day, that we are having billions and billions of dollars putting in budgets for space travel and terraformation. We're trying to pump in so much money and trying to convert Mars into Earth. Well, we can surely turn Earth back into Earth, right? So it's all about our vision, all about where our priorities lie. And at GEMS, in our schools as well, we try to go with the same approach that let's act local, let's solve problems within our community first. One of the projects that we that come to my mind is again with reference to air quality index, was trying to find out the problem. Not that we are trying to solve a problem, but finding the problem is also a huge deal in the step of process of solving it. So what we did was we had installed a lot of weather stations all across the school in our campus itself. All the students a lot of portable sensor devices, which they just wear around their neck, and they can roam around and they can do their usual school journey. And we had installed all these kind of sensors across the school. And a lot of data was coming out in terms of what kind of air quality and all these kind of things are happening in the school. But one thing that was popping out was, and this was because the students were actually going back and churning the data. They were looking at the data and coming out with inferences from the data. And one thing that was popped out is that in the morning around 8 o'clock and in the evening around 4 o'clock, there was a lot of carbon monoxide that was read in the entrance gate. And that was because of the drop-off when the parents were dropping off their children to the school. And it was alarming to us. And we thought that this needs to change. So then we went back to the board. We saw what our traffic plan looks like. We went to the RTA, which is the Road Transport Authority, showed them the data that we had. And this was all student projects, by the way. And they realized that, okay, this needs to change. And that ended up having to change our route where parents drop off. So it has actually helped us create our immediate surrounding more greener. So these are the kind of initial small impact activities that students can do across the globe. And even if 100 schools does that I'm sure will have an impact on the global scale. The other thing that we have done is create competitions, right? So when we have internal competitions, we always make sure that not only we are following the SDGs and those are the challenges, but we also make sure that the students are aware that it's the aim of the competition is not actually winning the competition, it's actually what you do after winning the competition. And with the help of this, last year we had the COP28, which was held here in Dubai, which was a huge boost to the entire climate change and sustainability talk that was happening in the schools. We did a lot of programs. We did a lot of Shark Tank, Dragon's Den kind of challenges around COP28, where students came up with climate-based solutions. So these are the small initiatives that has taken place across our schools. But I'm sure there are lots more that has been happening in our schools and across all the schools in the world. So I think this conversation really is happening at the right time. And Codeavour, I think has selected the right theme at the right time, I would say.
Thank you so much, Sreejit. I mean, definitely, students don't have kind of bring up a change. So quickly, just winding up, I have a last question for Mr. Allen. So how do digital tools and kind of platforms enhance student engagement in learning about climate change and sustainability? Is there something that the students in your classroom have kind of done that you would want to share?
I think the main thing is their willingness to experiment, to actually investigate. And when they're shown how easy it is now in some ways to get information and then asked to make a decision, especially with digital tools now for not just robotics and Codeavour and things like that, which are brilliant, but it's the actual communication and collaboration tools that allow these sorts of competitions and things to be done, not just within a school or a class, but between schools. And online tools mean that now with AI and virtual reality, we can have virtual competitions. We can empower the students to make connections with other people in different places without the expense, but still with the amazing success stories of them understanding and doing it. And I think using those digital communication tools in line with the digital platforms is something that just again is enhancing the movement and it's increasing the development of things at an exponential rate. And the more that happens, the better, because by the time some of these young people leave school, they will have created a wave that won't go away. It has to be addressed by those who may not want to, but it will be there and it will be caused by the digital revolution that's going on, I think.
Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you so much for that. I mean, this was an amazing panel discussion. Thank you so much, all our esteemed panelists, and for all those wonderful thoughts on incorporating technology in classrooms to, kind of make students aware of the climate action and using all these technologies responsibly and sustainably. So your thoughts and guidance are very valuable to us and our audience, and is in the moving ahead in the direction of, tech for a greener and a better future. So guys, can we have a huge shout out for all those esteemed panelists in our chat box? This was definitely an amazing panel discussion. Thank you so much for joining in, guys. So now, moving forward, let's welcome Mr. Ayush Jha, who will guide us through this incredible journey of what next and what we are here for, Codeavour 6.0 International. Over to you, Ayush.
Hello. Thanks, Pancham, for having me. First of all, I would like to share my gratitude to all the panelists for enriching the students and all who have joined us today with their thoughts on tech for greener tomorrow. Now, it's time to unveil the Codeavour 6.0 International. This year competition comes with a new tracks, themes, and challenges that will push the boundaries of your innovation. So let's get started. But before we proceed with today's launch ceremony, let me take a moment to introduce you to our Codeavour friend. Codeavour Mascot is a fun and a friendly robot that embodies the spirit of innovation, creativity, problem solving that Codeavour encourages. With its tech-savvy appearance, it symbolizes the exciting world of coding, AI, and robotics. It inspires the participants to think big, collaborate, and create the solution for the real challenges. I hope you might have liked the Codeavour mascot. Now, when we talk about Codeavour, imagine a future where young minds harness the power of artificial intelligence, coding, and robotics to tackle the real-world challenges and bring the meaningful changes in their communities. Here you can see a small 2 examples where the students have came up with an amazing projects across the globe to solve the real-world challenges. For them, the innovation is limitless. So, with this, students, educators, and tech enthusiasts, it's time to unveil something special. We are excited to present the official launch of Codeavour 6.0 International. Get ready to dive into the world of innovation, creativity, and global collaboration. Vivek, let's roll out the video. I hope, dear students and all who have joined, you must have liked the videos. As we move forward, Codeavour 6.0 is dedicated to work on a global progress. We are working to support the goals by fostering innovation and creativity. Together, we can help to build a more sustainable future. This year, we are progressing with a global goal to promote girl in STEM, experiential learning, and sensitizing the climate change. Before we move forward, to know more about Codeavour 6.0 in detail, here is a success of the Codeavour till now. We have hosted 5 editions of Codeavour so far, and we are launching our 6th edition today. So far, we have reached to 300,000 participants coming across 60 plus countries with an amazing submissions of 10,000 plus innovations by partnering with 200 plus organizations to help increase our impact. Last year, we have hosted more than 30 plus events across the globe. Last year, we went from online to hosting the physical events across the globe. In addition to our achievements, let me share the success made by the students in the Codeavour 5.0. In the last edition of Codeavour, winners from the senior category got an opportunity to win the Rajiv Motwani Fellowship Program, under which they got an opportunity to attend Feb 24 Mexico. The fellowship included a showcase of their innovation on a global stage and receiving the guidance from a global industry leaders to transform their innovations into the game-changing functional prototypes. Now, to know in detail about the Codeavour, let's understand what makes Codeavour different from others. Codeavour is not a 1 or 2 day competition, but a 6 to 8 months of engagement with the young innovators, where we provide access to a lot of free learning resources, along with the access to the expert webinars, seminars, and the expert sessions. We are the global platform for the innovators, where participants come from under-reserved communities to a vibrant communities, allowing everyone to be part of the evolution. As seen in the previous video as well, there are various stories of innovators that have helped them to set up an innovate a brilliant innovations. Every year, we inculcate a new technology so that the horizon keeps winding from our participants. This year, we will be having a various technologies, things related to artificial intelligence, machine learning, augmented reality, virtual reality, and extended reality. Yes, you have heard me right. Now, to know more in detail about the theme of this Codeavour 6.0 International, the theme of the Codeavour 6.0 revolves around the climate change and sustainability. Participants can compete in 2 different tracks. Track 1 focuses on innovation and entrepreneurship, where students create projects without any barrier of hardware using a platform that is PictoBlox. Track 2, on the other hand, is a strategic game where students compete to solve the real-world challenges aligned with the themes in the arena using their own robots. Age groups are divided into 3 categories: elementary, junior, and senior. A participant can compete individual or in a team or maximum 3 with a mentor. I know with the competition comes a big prizes. So here are some details of our prizes. One of the ultimate motivation of the students at the end of the competition is to win the attractive rewards and recognition. A total of 100 prizes and fellowships worth 45,000 USD are set aside, including digital devices, STEM kits, cash prizes, medals, and trophies to follow. We even have special awards for highlighting the participation of girls in STEM field, along with the out-of-box idea award and awarding our educators and mentors. With this Codeavour, to make you win this competition, to achieve it, you can also, to achieve the success, you can also check out our new Codeavour kit. We have created an exciting Codeavour kits for the innovators and the creators like you to enhance your project-making journey in Track 1, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and Robot Building Experience in Track 2, Climate Action Challenge, with a free online courses on how to build robotic mechanisms with quirky and high-speed line following and more. Here on the screen, you can see 2 kits. One of it is Creator Kit, which can be used in Track 1 and Track 2. You can explore multiple mechanisms with a wide range of electronic and construction parts using Quarky. This kit also contains an high-speed motors, Quarky expansion board, and other components that provide a significant learning advantage to the students. While on the other hand, complete arena kit, you can test your preparedness for the track 2 on the official competition arena exactly as the day of the actual competition. The kit is bundled of arena roll, arena object, arena fences, and camera clamps, and much more. You can buy these kits on our official Stempedia shop page. Also, you can reach out to your regional and country partners to get an attractive discounts on it. Let's take a look at the timeline of the competition. To see the key dates and the milestone of the Codeavour 6.0, we have opened our registrations for the participants from today. Our regionals in various parts of the country will start from November 2024 to Jan 2025. Nationals happening across the globe will conclude by the March 25, followed by the international in the first week of April 2025. I hope this information must have excited you to be part of the Codeavour 6.0 International. But before we move forward, I have a message from a very special guest and our evangelist, Ms. Ilaria, from Studio 5, a Fab Lab initiative. Let's see what she has to say to you all about Codeavour 6.0 International.
Hello everyone, hello coders. So this is Ilaria Lamanna, and I know that you will code some amazing idea, smart project to solve very huge problem and target the SDG of climate action and sustainability. So first of all, I will tell you I'm doing the video here in a very hot country, and I will show you like where I am. You cannot see probably anything, but because of the heat, and I'm over the water. So actually, I'm speaking to you from Qatar, that it will be in Doha, the next Codeavour 6.0. And here, it's in a very interesting city to solve the problem of climate action and sustainability. So from a hot country that it's from the desert, what can be a problem that is happening here? For example, the heat. For example, it's desert. We are in a desert, and in the desert there is no water. But what Qatar did it's surrounded by water around. So there is this desalinization of the water in order that the water can be used for any day and for the showering, for every kind of usage, because it's desalinized using the same water of the sea. So what do you think about it? I hope you will first analyze problems that are around you, around country, that are suffering this big problem, especially related to climate environment and climate problem that we have around every day and we are facing with it. For example, now I want to do you this video under a problem that is the sun and is the heat. So all this problem, I hope you will analyze and you will come up with a nice code, nice solution using coding, PictoBlox, or using artificial intelligence, using a machine as we use in a Fab Lab. I'm a fab makers, so always working with different machines to create nice idea and prototype in order to solve solution. So I wish you all the best luck for this new adventure, and I hope to see you in Doha and see your project, and I hope also to meet the winner. Bye bye from Doha.
Thank you to Ms. Ilaria for sharing us an amazing message. I hope the message from our evangelist has inspired you, just as they continue to inspire us, through which here is a look to our aim and impact we expect to achieve with the Codeavour 6.0 International. This year, we aim to reach out to more than 300,000 plus young innovators from 70 plus countries, with a reach from 3,000 plus schools and hosting more than 50 plus physical events across the globe. Not only Miss Alaria, but throughout the journey of Codeavour so far, we have a lot of evangelists supporting our visions, and here are some of the names. Miss Asha Jadeja Motwani ma'am, philanthropist and a founder of Motwani Jadeja Family Foundation USA. Mr. Michael Peter Anderson, you just heard today him today as a keynote speaker. Miss Sherry Lannister and Dr. Bishwajit Shah. Along with great evangelists, we have an amazing supporters. Last year, our top supporters included AWS, Amazon Web Services, Motwani Jadeja Foundation, Invented Education, GEMS Education, Fab Foundation, Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, to name a few. Apart from it, we have been supported by our country partners and regional partners all across the globe. I think you might be very excited to know more new things about the Codeavour 6.0 International. But students, this is not all. This Codeavour also unlocks a creative opportunity for the students through 3D and XR Studio in PictoBlox. I would like to invite Mr. Satyendra Singh, the mind behind 3D and XR Studio, to introduce us to this groundbreaking platform and how it will revolutionize the students and engage them with the 3D and XR technologies. Over to you, Mr. Satyendra. Mr. Satyendra, I think you're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to welcome everyone to the launch ceremony of Codeavour 6.0. And I'm sure that every single listener of this particular stream will be excited to join in Codeavour 6.0. On this special day, I would also like to announce the most exciting and most awaited product. And we are happy to announce the beta launch of PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio. So today is not just a day about introducing a product. It's about unveiling the future of education, creativity, and the immersive experiences that we hold. The world is racing towards 3D modeling, augmented reality, virtual reality, and we have built PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio to lead this kind of a transformation in the educational sector. So you must be wondering, like, why do we need a PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio? Just to give you a glimpse, the world is changing fast, and so are the tools that we need to succeed. Traditional learning and design methods, they are not that enough anymore. That's where PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio comes into the picture. It empowers students, educators, and creators to dive into the exciting world of 3D, AR, and VR like never before. So moving ahead, we would also like to showcase you some of the important features or the key features that our environment holds. So to name a few, you already have the scene right in front of you, which says about 3D modeling. Imagine a situation where students or the educator designing their own 3D models with ease, with a comprehensive set of features like sketching, stewarding, and Boolean operation. Creating 3D objects become intuitive and accessible to the all skills level, be it beginner, intermediate, or maybe the expert, the creator. Moving ahead, we also have an exciting feature of animation, where whatever you are designing in 3D model, you can actually give that 3D model life. So with the animation tool, you can create dynamic movement, adding a new dimension to your storytelling, designing, and interactive project making as well. The next feature that we want to introduce over here is real-time physics. Have you ever wondered or maybe just wanted your 3D object or the virtual objects to behave like they would in the real world? With real-time physics integration within our PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio, they will definitely do. This makes simulations not just fun, but also accurate and engaging for learning and creativity. We would also have our AR tracking capabilities within the software itself, where you can actually track faces, hands, maybe a cube, or images to make your projects truly immersive. We have a specific section of game designing. With all these features that we have seen so far, creators can actually create learning resources, games, and whatnot. Our game design capabilities allows to create interactive story and gameplay experience that are exciting as they are engaging as well. We have also introduced this platform in a way that it is compatible with major VR headset available in the market. So no matter which headsets the creator or the student or the educator must have, our PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio will definitely cater to that particular device itself. You are pretty much ready to experience your project in a whole new way with VR headset integration and step your creation and explore them in an immersive virtual world. Our platform also offers both the level of coding. So if you are a beginner and if you would like to go for block-based coding, we do support block-based coding in PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio. But if you're an advanced learner and would like to go for a text-based programming, we are open for Python as well. So this platform caters to both the kind of environment, the coding environment. Moving ahead, we would like to have a look at one of the XR experience that we have created on the theme of sustainability, because Codeavour 6.0 is all about sustainability. So let's watch how PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio brings important topics to life in a way that is engaging, fun, and incredibly impactful. So this is just a glimpse of a small project being designed by one of the students, where they have created a virtual world with dam, considering a hydro project. You can also see at the left side a windmill section where you have the windmills operating and generating electricity, and you have a solar farming area as well. So you can see our Toby in action over here, and you can just manipulate, perform some action, do some animations, and also create your own world in 3D and XR. We are equally excited that we would be having a lot of participation from the listeners, from this, the audience that we have. They will create a lot of projects with this platform, and we would like to share the beta launch in front of everyone. You are free to download the beta version of PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio using the QR code, which will be shared after this stream as well. I would like to thank you all once again for joining us for this launch. I'm forwarding this to Ayush. Over to Ayush now.
Thank Mr. Satyendra Singh for a brief introduction to PictoBlox 3D and XR Studio. As we have launched Codeavour 6.0, we invite organizations, institutions, and individuals to collaborate with us in this exciting journey. By partnering with Codeavour, you can help inspire young innovators, promote sustainable solutions, and make a real impact on the global challenges. Together, we can create a future where innovation knows no bonds. Join us in shaping the next generation of change makers. Vivek, thank you. So here are some of the sneak peek from the last year Codeavour 5.0 International held at Dubai. Here is an amazing prize-winning picture of 2 students, and you can see our own team. The value of collaboration. It's really important for us to bring the change across the globe through the innovations made by the young innovators, for which we are calling up the organization, institutions, as well as all the individuals to join us to change the future. Dear attendees, do not forget to connect with us for the latest update and the exciting news. Follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn to be part of Codeavour 6.0 journey, and do not miss out of any of the actions. We look forward to seeing you there. I hope you will be excited to know all the details of Codeavour 6.0 International. To help you get started, let's take a look to the Codeavour 6.0 International website. I would request our Mr. Vivek to please allow me to share the screen. Thank you, Vivek. Dear attendees, you might have heard us very accurately, but there might be a time you might have missed some points, but do not worry about it. Our Codeavour 6.0 website is live. And you can see the register now button is here. Here you can find all the details which have been shared during the meeting. The all new tracks in Codeavour 6.0 International, the amazing prizes to be won, how you can elevate your AI coding and robotics skill with Codeavour 6.0 International. You can also download the you can download PictoBlox. Here is a small guide how you can participate in Codeavour 6.0 International and win amazing prizes. Apart from it, you can also visit to our two important pages. That is track 1, innovation and entrepreneurship, where you will find all the details. How can you take part in this theme and make an amazing projects to be submitted? Here are our 5 different themes: clean energy and sustainable cities, life below water and life on land, industry innovation and infrastructure, climate action and responsible consumption, good health and well-being. You can choose any of one theme to create your own project, but make sure to go through with the general guidelines as well as the detailed rulebook of track 1 and track 2, which can be very easily downloaded from the website. If you are interested to be part in track 2, climate action and challenge, don't forget to visit the page for track 2, where you will find in detail a rulebook to be downloaded, along with all the challenges which you are going to achieve in your final, final challenges. Now, to wrap this up, incredible launch of Codeavour 6.0, I would like to hand over it to Pancham for the closing remark. Pancham, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ayush, for this wonderful journey, taking us through this wonderful journey of Codeavour 6.0 and giving us an insight of what's new. So now is the right time to share your thoughts and the feedback for our launch ceremony today. Scan the QR code and click on the link shared and pinned in the live chat box. Kindly take a moment to open the gate to collaborate with us and the collaboration opportunities. So I hope everybody can see a QR code on the screen. I would request everybody to scan that and leave your feedback and your thoughts for this launch ceremony. I hope everybody is scanning their QR code now. Can we have a thumbs up on the chat box, please? I'd like to take a moment to thank all the wonderful panelists that have joined us today. And special thanks to Michael sir as well for being here. I hope everybody scanned and filled the form. So finally, thank you all for joining us today. And we're excited to see how Codeavour 6.0 International will inspire and challenge you. Let's make this edition the most innovative one yet, and happy tinkering and best of luck to all the participants. Thank you so much for joining in, guys.